Hi everyone. Shall be starting in another 2 to 3 minutes. Just some of the guys are still pitching in, so yeah, just let's wait for a couple of minutes more before we start. Everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon from whichever part of the world you have joined in. Welcome to the mega event Askathon 2022. Basically, it's a grand event hosted by GyanDhan, in which you can ask questions from the students who are actually pursuing dreams of uh, pursuing their higher education from abroad. My name is Harsh, and I'll be the host for this. I represent GyanDhan. Start with the event. I can see a lot of participants have joined. Uh, let's start with the event. I'll start with a quick overview of GyanDhan. What GyanDhan is. So basically, GyanDhan is first ever uh, place for loan in India. We have basically helped 10,000 students to get loan. Uh, help students to get more than 3,500 loan disbursed, and yes, our students learn. You can see our Google rating is more than rated higher than 4.7, 4.8, and basically we have lending partners across the board, from the likes of heavyweights like to the global partners like Empower or Prodigy. So moving ahead, yeah. So moving ahead, how does GyanDhan help? Uh, am I audible? Can someone confirm, Rahul? I can hear some noise, but I'm not sure whether I'm audible or not.
Yes, yes, you are. You are.
Ayush, cool. All right. Thank you. Uh, uh, let's just cover a few aspects how to help the students. The first of all, the big USP is the you get a personal education loan counselor absolutely free of cost for you, no extra money to you. Second, when you apply for a education loan through GyanDhan, you get at lowest interest rate and you get the loan amount that is possible. Again, if you want a loan disbursement, yes, that is possible through us. We provide online documentation or doorstep pickup. So doorstep pickup available in metro cities and uh, metro cities in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Pune. As I said, as we are the expert loan expert education, the process is really quick if you go through us. Of course, since we have tied up with almost all the loan lenders across the board, your chances of uh, approval for the loan is very high. You can compare your loan offers across the board from different and pick and choose the best loan that suits you. Right. So let's move. Uh, this this session is mainly focused on ask anything to the students who are actually pursuing education in Australia. Uh, with me today, I have two with me today. The first one is Ayush. Ayush is a student of University of Technology, Sydney. He is pursuing Master in Data Science and Innovation. He has done his BTech from DIT University, Dehradun, and is currently a part-time graduate developer at A2B Australia Limited. And our second speaker is Saksham, who is a student at Queensland University of Technology and is pursuing Master in Information Technology, also majoring in Business Management. He is currently working as a business analyst at ASG Group, Brisbane, Queensland. Uh, I welcome both of you gentlemen, Ayush and Saksham. Welcome to the platform. Really grateful on behalf of GyanDhan and all the audience that we have. And I just hope this session will be uh, enlightening for all the audience who are able to go to to Australia for pursuing their education. Welcome both of you.
Thank you so much, Harsh. It was really a warm welcome. Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ash.
All right, thanks, Ayush. So let's move ahead without wasting much of it. Let's straight away. We have few questions which are very common questions that generally the students ask. So we have curated all the common questions which we can run through in first half of the session, and in the second half of the session we the stage for the audience, and we'll see what do they have. So let's start with the first question. uh, I would like to shoot this question to both of you because this is the, I think, one of the most key questions when it comes to foreign education. What actually triggered you to pursue higher education abroad? What was the time when it really felt like, oh, I should do this?
I can start.
Yeah, sure, Saksham, you can go ahead.
So for me, the trigger was I remember I was in the almost second last semester of my bachelor's, and I was doing computer science engineering. And because I had a low percentage and a few backlogs, I was quite worried that I couldn't sit in the placements. And I think that was the trigger point where I decided that a percentage having a good percentage in India is very important, but I wanted to explore like if it's the same thing if we go outside, do they, carry the same amount of weightage when you have a good percentage, then you can sit in the placements, you can get a good job. But yeah, so that was the trigger point for me.
Awesome. I think we already have a nice story, Saksham. I think my takeaway would be that even if in your undergrad your percentage was were not so great, or if you are let down with couple of backlogs, also you should back yourself up and never on a dream to pursue your higher education abroad. Let's hear it from you, Ayush.
Yes, definitely. First of all, if there are any background noises, I really apologize because I was in the middle of a shift and I'm just taking a break to come to for the session. So I'm sitting right like
Mhm.
across the street. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so
Sure.
what triggered me? I was doing my BTech in India, and I was in my second year actually. The second year had just finished, and I was thinking that what should I do after this? I had always wanted to go to a foreign country. I was actually aiming for US at the time, but I wanted to go to a foreign country, get some global exposure on things, how things are, and um, how top companies, how the work culture is. And coming from my sister, she herself is a CS engineer, so uh, I had some experience about how the IT industry in India is, and I wanted to be a little bit different from that industry. I didn't want to align myself with those particular interests. So that was one trigger point for me. I worked hard for 2 years, and I finally decided to come to Australia after that.
Great, Ayush. Great. Have two different stories from two different people. You see, one was very much planned from second year itself, and Saksham as a very inspiring story that he backed himself up and he decided to explore whatever comes his way. All right. So with that, let's move to the next question. Let's start with Ayush. Maybe this one. Why did you select this particular course? What intrigued interest in this particular course that you are pursuing?
Okay, so I'm currently pursuing my master's in data science and innovation, and like I said, in after my second year, I wanted to explore more options, and I wanted to know about the advanced technologies that are out there in the world. And at that particular time, two particular things were of key interest to me: Internet of Things and data science. Uh, I had always been a little bit good at maths, and I loved doing maths. And data science was a combination of computers and mathematics, statistics. So that's why this particular course. So it is purely out of my love and passion for this particular field.
I think nicely summed it up, Ayush. The love and passion for the course. Awesome.
Yes.
All right, Saksham, let's hear from you about your course and why did you select that particular course?
So I actually finished my degree last year. So I did Masters of IT majoring business process management. I think for me selecting this particular course, the reason was I did bachelor's in computer science engineering and I ended up hating coding. I didn't like it any bits of it. So I thought, why not continue something in IT, but towards the business side. And that was the time when I was deciding for the university. I was looking at the course, and in the description, they provide a lot of info about what will you
Yeah,
actually learn in that major. So when I
yeah,
was reading that description, it was very much something I really wanted to do, and that's how I came up to the decision that okay, in the whole IT course, all the majors, this is the one that is like it struck out to me, and I thought, yeah, let's the gut feeling, honestly.
yeah, yeah. Perfectly. I'm already loving this one. One answer who said that absolute love and passion for the course, and second, Saksham believing his gut feeling and just going ahead with the flow, basically. Great. Uh, let's move to the next one. Very important part for students, basically, when they decide, okay, I want to pursue higher education abroad, but I am sitting in my third year or fourth year of my college, and then I decide, okay, let's go ahead and do it. Then how do you prepare yourself for admissions? So, would like to know specific stories from you. How did you prepare yourself for the admission? This time, maybe we can go alternate. Maybe Saksham, you can go first.
So for me, preparing for admissions, you mean like particularly for the admissions?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I think it was a very straightforward process for me. They just wanted all the previous mark sheets for my last university, and they didn't ask me for an explanation of low percentage or as soon as I submitted all the mark sheets, they just wanted me to clear all the backlogs I had. and provide a
All right.
proof that all the backlogs are clear in the end. And once they got all of it, they just gave me the offer letter. So for me, it was pretty smooth process, but it just depends from university to university. Because one of my friend, I can just share that another story. One of my friend,
Sure.
he studied in University of Queensland, and he had to, explain, and they wanted some sort of letter explaining why do you want to select this particular course and why our universities. So it just depends on university to university how they want to proceed. Even they can sometimes ask you to explain if you have a low percentage, that why do you have this percentage and why do you think you will be better off in that course. So yeah.
All right. Great, Saksham. I think I already have a takeaway that eh, I think for the audience also, even if someone has a backlog, okay, that is of a concern. But yes, as long as you are sure that you can clear the backlog and move ahead to apply to relevant universities, you can very well get an admission there. Uh,
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely, I
the
agree.
process also depends on like university to university. Saksham, just a cross question here.
Yep.
Did the university demand any exam score or something like that, like IELTS or TOEFL,
Yeah,
anything?
you need PT. They ask for PT, but
Okay.
like because I had an IT course, they I think not all the universities ask for the GRE score. In Australia, it's
Mhm.
very less. So only thing was I
Okay.
had a 6+ in PT in all the bands, or I mean all the reading, writing stuff, and that was pretty easy for me. So that's all they wanted.
Cool. Cool, Saksham. All right. Ayush, let's hear it from you.
Okay, so initially I was keeping my options open for countries, so that's why I gave GRE as well as IELTS because I wanted to explore the options that I had. But due to political reasons at the time, don't want to sound too politically incorrect in this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Finally chose the option of Australia because of the living style that we have over here and the universities. So admission process, it was pretty straightforward. I had given my IELTS and GRE beforehand. Had applied to
Oh,
like 5 or 6 universities in Australia. Some of the universities they demanded a statement of purpose, something like that. Some of them, not all. And I got the offer letter straight away. And from there on, the admission process, it was just paying the fees, getting the COE, applying for the visa, then Australian borders to reopen, not that, and then finally coming here.
pretty tough times those days. Ayush, just one thing from there. You mentioned about statement of purpose. Did you take help from any of the consultant or any website or any references to make your statement of purpose, or was it very intuitive to you?
So I'll be honest here. I had taken help from a consultant, and they had given me some sample statement of purpose. But about statement of purpose is, be it any country you're applying to, you have to be as genuine. This cannot be a plagiarized thing. You cannot copy from anywhere else. You can just take
Yeah.
references on how things are done, but it has to be
Sure.
authentic.
All right. I think again a good takeaway from here, as Ayush mentioned, that statement of purposes are important, but they are your personal thing, and plagiarism and all comes into play. So that's why you can have a look at the structure as Ayush mentioned, but it should depict your own story in your personal style. All right. So so with that, let's move ahead to the fourth question. A very worrisome thing for most of the students, okay, when it comes to foreign education. The biggest block that any student, or for that matter, around 80 to 90% of the student have, that how will I manage the finances, because we know studying in India versus studying abroad, there's a lot of cash and capital that is involved. And how did you go about it? So let's hear from either of you, whosoever wants to go first.
Okay, I think I'll go first with this. So, when the situation was about finances, I have again, I at that particular time it was difficult for me because I wanted a non-collateral based loan, and not many banks provide that. So I had spoken to bank managers, and everyone, it didn't pan out well. I applied. So one thing about Australia is, if you are eligible for a scholarship, the university will automatically grant it to you. You don't have to apply for the scholarship separately. um,
Okay.
there are a few there are still a few selected scholarships which may be that they may require you to apply separately, but they are very few in it, in numbers. So if even before I got the offer letters and everything, I think I had been in contact with GyanDhan before that, because I had spoken to a few of the representatives, and I had started talking about the banks, and I had started meeting the representatives and everyone, and that's how the journey was for me.
All right. So basically, you wanted a, so at towards the end, did you get a collateral? How difficult was it for you?
Yes. With GyanDhan, it was very smooth. I'll be honest, because I had spoken to almost every person I knew. Even the people who are here in Australia, they are surprised by the fact that I was able to get a non-collateral based loan of up to 40 lakhs, and the interest rate is again lower than many other people who have put up huge collaterals.
All
So that
right.
was one of the best things, and that was thing that happened because of the help of GyanDhan.
Uh, so the kind words, Ayush, we glad to hear that we at least had a wow moment for you. Let's from you, Saksham. How has been your thought process when it came to finances? Because as you mentioned, the whole journey you were ready to explore and all. So yeah, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so for me, arranging the finances was it did got very complicated because I obviously started with GyanDhan, and I don't really remember now how I got to know about you guys, but definitely someone recommended me, and I thought maybe go forward with it, and you guys recommended me to SBI, but SBI being the
Okay.
government bank that time, because this thing is like 3 years back, so it's not like current
Mhm.
thing where they holded my the loan thing for almost a month, and I only had a
Yeah.
few weeks to go to Australia, and so my agent to show the finances from my family if I can, like from my close relatives, and at the same time apply for loan if that's possible, because loan was something we definitely wanted, but
Yeah.
they have time foundations. If you don't show your finances on time, they won't grant you visa, and then you cannot leave. Your semester will be deferred. So
All right.
two things were going on. One side, Gandhan recommended me like straight away. It was a very smooth process, honestly. I didn't have to do anything. I just got in touch with Gandhan that, hey, SBI is creating a lot of issues. What can be done? So they
Yeah.
like got in touch with Axis Bank, I think, and the Axis Bank representative got in touch with me, and that process went really fast. And that was a non-collateral loan, which went ahead at a very good rate of interest. So I was very happy because SBI was a collateral loan, and that got rejected in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with the Axis Bank, it happened while I was in Australia. So that's how Gyandan Good was that time in 2019, where I was in Australia and my dad was able to had the power of authority, and then he was able to successfully get the loan. And then that's how we started getting all my fees from the loan. But yeah,
Yeah.
still had to show my finances through my family, like help from my family to just
Yeah.
show it that, okay, I have some money in my account.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And Saksham,
Oh
any
yeah.
comments around scholarship?
Yeah. So I was coming to that. So I agree
Sure.
with Ayush. Scholarships are automatically applied, most of the universities. And I wasn't eligible for any because of, again, my low percentage. But if you are eligible, they definitely give in universities, give good scholarship amounts. So it just depends from university to university. If they don't give you any, if you have a good percentage, I think one should definitely look into it by themselves, or maybe ask their agent that why didn't they get this scholarship while having. Because I remember that time, even because I applied for Deakin University as well, which is in Melbourne. That time they had the scholarship starting from 65 to 70% as well, which is not a very high percentage demand. So you should always check if you are not getting a scholarship if you have good percentage in your bachelor's or your 12th grade.
Sure. Great, Saksham. I think clear around the scholarship. I think both of you clearly mentioned that okay, if you don't need to apply specifically separately for the scholarship, but yeah, if you are eligible, the university will automatically grant you scholarships. And regarding the finances, again, two different stories from two different gentlemen. One went very smooth, and other a little bumpy ride, but towards the end, everything got smooth. All right, let's move to uh, a more, I would say, interesting part of the conversation, as in uh, personality wise. I would say, uh, what changes, what changes this study abroad bring in you, as in, uh, I'm sure being in India and then preparing for higher education abroad. Once you go there, I think the lenses gets changed, the way you see the world and all. And so, be it your personal or professional, how did you see the higher education changing you after you went abroad?
Yeah, so I can start this one. So I think the
Yeah,
first and the biggest change was your English gets improved to another level, mostly because you interact with a lot of Australians and other people who only speak
yeah,
English, and then you don't have a choice, so you will eventually learn. So for me, I was doing a lot of customer facing jobs at the initial stages so that I can, understand their slangs because Australians use a lot of slangs. And then I
right,
would say about the second change would be in confidence because everything in Australia, you're going there. If you don't have a family or friend, you mostly manage everything by yourself. You are
yeah,
independent there. You don't have people, supporting you throughout the journey. So through all the thick and thins, you
yeah,
are alone in that journey. So you learn a lot. You grow a lot. So I would say in India, in a lot of years, I haven't grown that much compared to a few years spending in Australia because of how difficult the situations were and how much I had to, brace myself to overcome those situations and still move forward and not hope because it's a journey and you will have to go through the hard rocks to eventually get the smooth one. So yeah.
yeah. I think pretty inspiring. You don't fail to inspire me even for a single question, Saksham. um, I think you have a great story to tell, so thanks for that. Ayush, let's hear from you.
Yes, so some of the big changes about study abroad. First of all, it'll change your entire perspective about how things are. In India, we and especially coming to an educational environment, we are very much concerned about how we look, and how we are dressing. But over here, no one actually cares because people
Yeah,
are more concerned with your skills, how good you are at
correct.
things, and that is one very big change. Again, you learn to be a lot more humble, you learn to respect others, you learn to be way more polite than what you would have been in India. So these are some of the major changes that I would see. Then again, for some of us it might be the some one very big change would be, you get to manage your own things. You are doing let's say a part-time job, you're managing your education, you're managing your nutrition requirements, you're managing your finances.
All right.
It's a big change, and it makes one a lot more responsible.
Nice. I think this was the, I think, first question wherein there is a starking similarity between the answers that Ayush you gave and Sakshan you gave. So definitely, I think this is this is something which is a major takeaway, that yeah, it really makes you more responsible. And yeah, regarding other things that you guys mentioned. With that, let's talk about few very interesting things that generally the students ask us about the internship and part-time job opportunities, because it is directly or indirectly related uh, to the finances. And yeah, I think the audience would love to hear from you that is there any opportunity of internship or part-time job opportunities that they should explore beforehand or maybe after they go out there.
Okay, so I'll get started with this question, and I think it's in alignment with one of the questions asked in Q&A. So I'll again, from the impact point of view of the impact of COVID, let's talk about part-time job opportunities first. Australia has huge part-time job opportunities at the moment, and some of the very good paying. job part-time job options are available. So this is not in respect to your particular domain. This is in respect to a general part-time job that you can get to pay your bills in the meanwhile.
Okay.
Now, talking about internship opportunities, again, companies are impacted because of the loss of labor during the time of COVID. So there are openings, but there are a few things to be considered before going ahead. If we are talking about getting a full-time job or something, it's a bit difficult while we are on a student visa, because student visa, there's a bit of uncertainty considering from the point of view of the organization. There's a bit of uncertainty in terms of retaining the employee. It could be possible that the visa application further gets rejected, so it's a bit difficult. But again, if you have the skills, if you have the right skill set, you have the right way of demonstrating your skill set, there is no particular barrier for that.
Okay.
Internship opportunities, there are plenty. You might have to, in for the initial few days, if let's say if you have some experience. So I know a particular friend of mine. He had 7 or 8 years of work experience in India, working in Accenture. He got here in Australia just this January. By Feb, he had a job in KPMG. uh,
Nice.
Initially it was a part-time job, but he converted into a full-time job. His current salary would be somewhere around 120,000, and which is amazing considering the fact that he's still a student. So if you
Right.
have the right skill set, if you have the right domain knowledge, if you have experience, that's a huge add-on. But and if you don't, if you can demonstrate your skill set somehow, that goes a long way.
Yeah. Great, Ayush. Ayush, just from visa point of view, is there any hindrance or barrier if you want to work there? Still on, if you are still on a student visa?
Currently, all the restrictions have been removed, so we can work full time. But the only difference is that if you are a student, if you are on a student visa, our occupation cannot technically be a full time. We have
Okay.
unlimited work hours, but if we
Mhm.
talk about that from the point of view of an organization, they cannot employ us as a full time employee. They can employ us as a part time employee and give us more hours.
All right. Okay. Okay. And
Yes.
is it so? I am sure you must be having a large friend circle out there. Can you throw some example wherein, as in people doing part-time job versus managing their studies also? How difficult is that generally?
Okay, so I think I can pretty much take an example of myself, because, as you said in my profile, so I'm also
Right.
doing my master's. I have three other jobs actually. Uh, I am a graduate developer at A2B Australia. Then I am also working at Domino's, so I'm pretty sure you guys can see that. So, and
Yeah.
apart from that, I'm also student ambassador of where I live. The key for this is, and again, this is my answer to anyone who's coming here.
Hmm.
You have to take care of your education first. Making money, paying your bills comes secondary. You may have to rely on your education loan, let us say, if you're not able to manage it properly. But nothing should be coming in the way of compromising your studies for, let's say, making a few more bucks. That is my point of view on that. Yes, it is a bit difficult to manage, full time studies and working alongside, but take only how much you can handle. Okay, we can pay our bills, that's fine. We have some money to have some fun, maybe, that's fine. But all you have to decide is your personal capacity, your body restrictions, how much can you take on at a time. So that is the key. Yeah.
Cool, Ayush. Ayush, let's hear from Saksham about this one, and then maybe I can sum it up for this question for the audience.
I think Ayush summed it up quite well and he added all the points, but I'll still add my own personal experience. So,
Yeah.
for both internship and part time opportunities, I think if you have a reference, that really helps. Uh,
Oh, great.
it doesn't matter if the internship is professional, because obviously, oh, sorry, internship would be professional, but also part time jobs are sometimes professional because one of my senior was doing a part time job, but it was his professional work. So when it comes to
Right.
part-time jobs, Ayush is right. There's plenty of opportunity out there, but if you have a reference, that helps a lot. That gets you in the door very quickly. But if you don't have that, what I did was, because I never got a part-time job that easily, I used to keep applying. Indeed and Seek are the best platforms. Just keep applying, keep
Hmm.
applying. Don't lose the hope. and you will eventually get one. And once you get one job, I think it gets easy for you to jump to second, third, and fourth, because that experience never goes down for part-time jobs. And when it comes to internships, I think for me, finding a professional internship was very hard, because that was last year. There was COVID was still there. Not everyone was keen to hire, and
Hmm.
IT was not on the boom like it is right now here. So
Right.
it was hard, but I had a reference in one of the companies. So I started my professional journey with Suncorp. So Suncorp
Okay.
is like a bank and insurance company. Now majorly they are an insurance company, and I had a reference in there, and I got a direct interview because of that. Despite the job was having like 300 resumes, because of the reference I got in the interview, and then eventually I got hired. So if you have a reference, that's very good. But if you don't have a reference, I think the easiest thing one can do is reach out to people on LinkedIn. Because if you
Yeah.
need a professional job, keep reaching out. Because I remember I used to mention one point that someone had 7 years of experience and they got a job pretty quickly in KPMG. That's the same thing I heard from other people who have had some experience in India. And when they came here, they applied for a job on LinkedIn and they got it pretty quickly, like a
Yeah.
casual or even a part-time job. Even if you get 20 hours of professional working experience through your 2 years or however long your study is, it always counts. And once you graduate, I think getting a full-time job is pretty easy. So for me also, I was quite lucky that when I was in my last semester, I got a job as a casual business analyst, and then that's how I was able to jump onto my next full-time opportunity straight away
Yeah.
after I finished that role.
Cool,
So yeah.
cool. I think great insights, Saksham and Ayush both. So I think I'll just try to sum it up for the audience. The first and the I think the bottom line that Ayush mentioned is do whatever it takes, but do not compromise on your studies, because that is the thing that will take you anywhere, wherever you want to go. I think the second, third would be, yeah, if you want to go for an internship or take a part-time job, yes, there are options. You should not lose hope if you are not getting an offer upfront. Maybe you should keep reaching out to people. Network is a big effect, and if you have references, it will for sure help you. So I think these are wonderful insights, Ayush and Saksham. Before opening it to the audience, just one last bit that I would want to discuss is, yeah, uh, now in the hindsight, you are already there, and couple of years back you were in India. So do you have any memory or anything in your hindsight that, okay, 2 years back, had I done this thing, it would have helped me a lot? So do you have any suggestion for the students who want to uh, go for uh, higher studies, or who are current aspirants? Any suggestion that you can bring in?
Harsh, I'm sorry I'm interrupting in between. Actually, I'll have
Uh,
to leave, but I'll answer this question before I go. So,
sure.
I remember a couple of years back when I was in India, and this is the same situation. Like a few months back, some students reached out to me on LinkedIn, and they wanted to talk to me about how things are at UTS. So, even from their experience, what I can suggest is, I know the change is going to be tough, and it's going to make you a lot more nervous, but have faith, things are going to be fine, and start get into the habit of working hard. No matter what, if you have some goals in life, start working towards them. Over here, anyone who works hard, their work is really appreciated. Set your goals, what you want to achieve, start working towards them, and have a plan ready. Even if you don't have a plan ready, it may not always work out as perfect, but if you are just ready to put in the effort, something will always turn out positive at the end.
Perfect. Great insights, Ayush. Thank you for the wonderful suggestions that you gave us. And yeah, I think you have to go somewhere. I wish you a great evening and
Yes,
all the best.
thank you so much. Thank you so
Uh,
much, it was lovely being here. Thank you so much, Harsh.
Thanks,
And
Ayush.
thank you so much, Sham.
Sayush.
Right.
So see you, Ayush. See you. Saksham, I guess then we are left with just one expert now. So your take on this one, and then we'll open the stage for the audience for the questions.
Yeah, so I was just preparing a few pointers. I think I don't want to miss the important ones. So what I would suggest
All
for the study abroad aspirants, who are 100% sure they want to go and they have already started the process and one day they'll get the visa and just leave. So first thing is just learn to cook, and that too in advance, because I started learning to cook a week before I was leaving, and it was very hard for me. So I had to video call my mom every day, because YouTube cannot give you the same taste in the food that you're used to eating every day. So learn to cook, and learn to cook all your favorite dishes, because you can get every type of food there, but you will have to cook that by yourself. The second thing is, it's always handy if you can make some friends, or if you know some people who will be going from your city to maybe your similar university or not to your similar university, because flight journey is quite long. So if you
right.
guys are on the same flight, it always helps. You always have someone, you're not alone in the flight. And not just about the flight, but once you reach the country, you obviously might have booked something for a week or a two to live and then move to an accommodation. So if you have friends whom you know and you are confident that okay, you can, get a house for 6 months and stay with those people, it always helps, because for me it was very hard throughout to get live with the people whom I can trust and stay happy, because at the end of
Right.
the day you don't want to go to a house back where you don't like the people you stay with, because staying
Correct.
with strangers is not easy for a new person when you're entering a new country, and you gotta face so many new challenges that you obviously don't want to face, because you just want to understand, learn, and then go forward. So I think these are the two main points, but I'll definitely add more once I recall.
Yeah. So I think again, Saksham, I appreciate the take you have always have on all the questions. Very candid responses, especially the bit where you mentioned that okay, learn to cook, and the second bit also, which is very important. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, that yeah, having a good company definitely helps, and you should look forward to getting to know people when you reach there. It makes your life a lot more easy. So with that, I believe I'll open the stage for questions from the audience, and yeah, so I'll just read out the questions. I think the
yep.
first question is from Ali Muhammad. I have two questions. I have got an offer from UOW, and my course starts in Feb. So first question is, in which month shall I fly to Australia, and how to find the best flight price? The second is how to find accommodation being in India.
So for the first one, in which month you should fly, I think the government has some regulations that you cannot come like 6 months in advance, or if you can come, I think it mostly maybe depending on your visa, it must be specified from the Department of Home Affairs on your visa, or you can talk to your university about it, because I'm not really sure. Because when I was doing the process, I was doing it a month in advance or 2 months in advance. I didn't do it like 6 months in advance, so I'm personally not 100% sure on the first part of your question. For the finding the best
Hmm.
flight prices, I use Skyscanner, and my Make My
Okay.
Trip is also good. They have quite good offers going in, so use Skyscanner or maybe Make My Trip or any. Just keep exploring, or maybe even Google Flights. They also have quite good comparison of prices. But I can also give you a very good suggestion when it comes to for the flight. Always try to go with the with. I personally like Singapore Airlines, because they have the best customer service. I haven't heard bad experiences about Air India. I've heard bad experiences of Qantas. Qantas is an Australian airline, which if you are going to Sydney or Melbourne, they fly directly. So that's like a 12 hours of flight. And if you haven't been on a flight for this long, going on a 12 hours journey straight away is very exhausting. And
Yeah.
trust me, it doesn't get better. And once you reach the country, you are so exhausted that for the next 2 days you are pretty much jet lagged. And if you have your university, the first week starting, you all obviously need some rest before that. So jumping
Correct.
on to the next one, how to find accommodation. Personally, I made some friends through Facebook. As I said, make some friends beforehand, and we together booked an Airbnb for a week. I would say, if you don't find more people, just yourself an Airbnb. for almost like 2-3 weeks because it takes a lot of time. Currently, they don't have a lot of accommodations readily available, so always have handy like a few weeks for you to look for accommodation that you can stay in, because you never know, they might be charging their prices for a not so good accommodation. So you always want
Yeah.
enough time on your hand to find a good accommodation, because once your university starts you won't get enough time to explore the accommodation. So always try to book. Maybe Airbnb is the best, they have lots of options. So that's what I did, and it's better than
Yeah, I
hotels,
think
it's much cheaper.
perfect. I think for the second part, you are fairly clear that either Airbnb or make friends beforehand, and having an
Yeah, and
accommodation
book
before you
with them.
land there definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely. Don't go there and don't have any place to go to, because the immigration people ask you, where are you going? Where are you going to stay? So you got
Yeah.
to have some place, because they might even ask you for the address. And you don't want to be into a situation where you are in the immigration clearance line and you don't even know where you are going to go, and you just have your university offer letter, because that doesn't put you
Yeah.
in a good spot. So yeah, have some place booked in advance where you can go.
Cool, Saksham. Saksham, second question is coming in from YouTube Live. How easy is it to uh, to get a job in Australia? Any impact of COVID on the availability of jobs? Uh, yeah. So this is the question from YouTube Live.
Yeah, there is a lot of impact, and the impact is very positive, that there is plenty and plenty and plenty of jobs. So, where I used to work before, every day I get shifts from them. So, I used to work in stadiums, and I found that job through a reference. So, that's why I keep talking about reference. So, one of the
Yeah.
person just recommended me, and with the help of her, I was able to apply and got a job, because they didn't require a lot of experience before. So, they
Yeah.
have plenty of jobs available right now, and good jobs. You don't really have to do labor intense jobs where a lot of people go for that, because on Facebook I have seen a lot of groups where people ask for labor intense jobs, and people go for it because they think that there are no other jobs available. But there are, trust me, there are, and there are plenty of them. You just need to explore, and you need to look for it. Don't go to Australia and rush and just get a job in a day or two and just start doing it. Take your time. Look for a job that you can work for. Even if you don't like a job, leave in a day or two and then go for the next one if you can't find. But personally, if I talk about my experience, I started with Uber Eats. So there's nothing wrong with
Nice.
food delivery. Everyone
Yeah.
does that, as long as you are staying safe and you're not overexerting yourself doing
Yeah.
that job.
Cool. Cool, Saksham. I think, yeah, again, the takeaway is make networks, and if you have references, it makes a lot easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question is from Ali Mohammed. How is IDFC Bank in terms of education loan? Oh, so maybe I'll take this question quickly.
Yeah.
So, Ali, basically all the banks are good for education loan. You should try to get offer from all the banks. The only two things you should be very concerned about is which bank is giving you the least rate of interest and is giving the maximum amount that you require. Apart from bank, apart from that, the I don't think the brand should matter, because you are not giving money to anyone, you are taking money. As long as that money is cheaper, that means the rate of interest is lower, and you are getting enough money, that means the amount is higher. That bank is best for you. So if you are trying to look for an education loan, you should try to get maximum number of offers from different bank and then compare. Whosoever is giving you the maximum amount at least interest rate, yeah, you should go ahead and choose that. As simple as that. uh, so moving on to the next question. This question is from Sherab. Do universities help with job placements? Yeah, I'm sure in India
So
generally it happens a lot, so uh,
yeah.
pretty obvious question from the audience.
Yeah. That was the same question I always had, and I think I had it even when I started the university. I used to ask to everyone.
Okay.
Most of the universities don't provide any placements, but if you are doing bachelor's or master's, I'm not sure about master's, but in bachelor's in my university, they do have one semester where they have work integrated learning, where they will give you a company based project where they'll assign you a company, and then they'll give you a real world project. So that
Yeah.
sort of experience does help you getting a job in that same company, even if they like the work, yeah, you did in a project, like in a group project,
Mhm.
but they don't have any placement, so you will have to find a job on yourself.
Yeah, again, I think it's circling back to the same thing that, yeah, reach out to people, on LinkedIn,
Yes.
make networks, and that is going
I
to help
can
you in a long run.
I can also add one very important point here that personally helped me finding my first job when I was studying. So, in every university, there are university groups where they have uh, your particular course group. So, because I was in business analysis, my university still has a group called QUT Bands, which is Business Analysis and Data Science Society. So, I joined that, and most of the people were from data science and business analysis side, and that was the first place for me where I met so many people at the same time. And my first reference from the job was from one of the founders of that university. So if you find a university society that is related to your course, join it, be a part of it, give yourself enough time to, go into the events because they literally call professional people from the industry where you can personally talk to them, add on LinkedIn. Everyone is really nice. They'll talk to you, they'll
Right.
ask about your experience, your study. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a great point. So again, just to sum it up, don't lose any opportunity of making networks. Any networking event, be it online, offline, just grab that opportunity. You never know which connection will help where to uh, to land up into any of your dream jobs. Uh, so with that, let's move to the next question. The next question is from Vaibhav Sharma. Is PTE difficult than IELTS? That is his
No,
question.
PT is very easy than IELTS. Personally, me and all of my friends, about whoever did gave PT, they had better PT
Yeah,
score than if you go in IELTS. So that's all from personal experience.
cool. I think a pretty candid answer as usual, Saksham. Let's move on to the, maybe this will be the last question that I'll take today because of the time constraint. What is the quality of
Yeah,
engineering that your college is offering? How are the placements? That is, this is a question from Nitin Bindal.
I am not 100% sure about engineering in my university, but they definitely
Okay.
offer engineering courses, engineering management, and masters in that, or even if you want to go for a bachelor's in any sort of engineering, they do offer that. And our
Yeah.
university is very good for all the technology and engineering courses. So I would suggest you to go on the university website and look for the particular course that you want to go for and see if
Yeah.
whatever they are going to teach you, the units are something of your interest. And if they are of your interest, maybe try reaching out to people, anyone who has done similar sort of course, because a lot of people update their universities on
Right.
LinkedIn. So maybe just look around,
Right.
find someone, and talk to them. And about the placements, again, yeah, they don't provide any placements. My university doesn't. Mostly, I think there might be a few exceptions. I think in MBA, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but yeah.
I think another great insight, Saksham. As simple as that. Similarly, Nitin, as Saksham mentioned, that rely on the network. You can leverage LinkedIn to connect with people who are already pursuing that particular course in your dream university, and that should be your go-to place. I think, given the time constraint, uh, that was the last question that I had to take. Uh, yeah, so thank you everyone whosoever was in the session, and uh, thanks to you, Saksham. I think it was one of a very candid conversation that I had with you, and definitely the audience will resonate with that. The your candid answers and very not being judgmental about anything and just expressing the way it is. Thank you for wonderful insights. And if you have any final word for the audience, please go ahead.
I would say I'm really happy that I said yes to this event, and I'm glad that I made it, though having some schedule issues. But I am hoping that all my answers were helpful to everyone, and everyone can have sort of ease in their journey towards settling in, like going for abroad education. And I hope, like, I wish everyone best of luck, whoever's going to pursue that dream.
All right. Thank you, Saksham. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in the next event if you are able to join, because this Askathon will continue till 9th of October. So see you in the next session. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Harsh. Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye
Harsh.
bye.
Bye.